It's Chris Oyakaro on Twitter, and in this video I want to show you how you can create an SFT. Now what is an SFT? SFT stands for semi-fungible token. It's different from an NFT in that there can be multiple of them. An NFT can only exist once and once only. SFTs exist as fungible tokens, but they have the metadata of an NFT. Now why would you do that? Because, for example, in game items, you wouldn't want, imagine a game that has potions, right? 1 million users with 2 million potions circulating around in total. Now, what you don't want to do is have an NFT for each of those potions. Why you don't want to do that? Because it's damn expensive to create NFTs. And SFTs are super cheap and a lot easier to handle. And in such cases, such as potions, this is an example where SFTs can be used and have been used already. They are a lot better suited because you only have one token that you can distribute instead of having a whole NFT collection. You couldn't have an NFT collection of 1 million items, but you can have an SFT with 1 million items dispensed across the whole ecosystem. So with that in mind, you're probably watching this video because you already know what an SFT is or you want to create one, and this is what I'm going to show you. And how we're going to do that is we're going to use the new Metaplex JavaScript SDK. This SDK is looking pretty good, even though it is very much in beta and subject to change. So we're actually going to pin the version that I'm going to be using here. And yeah, with that in mind, let's jump in. So what I have here is I just created this empty TypeScript file, this TypeScript repository. I assume you have some familiarity with TypeScript and JavaScript already, so I'm not gonna do a very basic, very beginner-friendly tutorial. If you don't have experience with TypeScript and JavaScript, well, suggest you read up on it because I can't go into that in this video. But that in mind, let's go ahead and install a couple packages. I've already have them installed, but I'm gonna install them anyways, show you what we need. So we're gonna yarn add Metaplex Foundation/JS. This is the JavaScript SDK that I was talking about, and we're gonna pin a version at 0.16.0. Why? Because by the time you're watching this video, this version is probably higher and it does have breaking changes. And we're going to use the Solana Web3.js as usual at 1.63.1. Okay, I already have these installed, but yeah, I'm just going to run that anyhow. The next thing that we're going to do is I'm going to go on DevNet. I'm already on DevNet, so I'm just going to show you. So RPC DevNet, I assume you know how to go on DevNet in the CLI, so I'm not going to show you that. And I have a key pair here that I created. I set that to the key pair. Right. Okay, so let's start. Let me show you actually what we're going to be creating. We're going to be creating this SFT here. This is an example that I created. We're going to be using the same picture because I like Shrek and I like techno, so LFG. So this is what an SFT looks like, right? So if you look at here, distribution, this one has a balance of 0 because I haven't actually minted any of these. But the important part with an SFT is that it is a fungible token like USDC. It's the same underlying principle, but you have the metadata as if it was an NFT, the exact same metadata as if it was an NFT, but it is technically on chain a fungible token. And that's how the mix of two creates the SFT. If you want to read more, you can go on here, docs.metaplex.com, token standard, a fungible asset standard. And this outlines what an SFT is and why we need them. So yeah, as usual, the metadata is regular NFT metadata. I'm going to show you how to create how to upload the metadata, the JSON metadata to Arweave because the Metaplex JavaScript SDK supports that as well. It doesn't support image uploading, so I'm just going to be using a regular JPEG from the internet, this one. And then we're going to add 2 creators, and we're going to also add it to a collection so that it's going to be added to an on-chain Metaplex collection. Why would you need that? Because if you're going to be creating multiple SFTs and you want them to be in the same collection, this is the way to do it. Right. And on that note, I also created this SFT, the on-chain collection ID. So you can just go on collections.metaplex.com, click on new collection, create a collection NFT. If you don't know what a collection NFT is, it's basically just any random NFT that you have control over that you put into the other NFTs or SFTs, as this is the verified that this NFT or SFT belongs to this collection. Collection is really just an NFT on chain with a regular ID. Okay, so I've blabbered enough. Let's go to code. What we're going to do here in the beginning is I'm going to import a couple things, a couple of libraries here. So we're going to import from Metaplex Foundation JS a couple things: bundler storage, key pair identity, Metaplex creator input, key pair signer, JSON metadata. I'm going to upload this snippet up to a GitHub gist, so look down in the description to find that gist if you just want to copy paste this and not want to watch me go through this whole thing. From Solana Web3.js, key pair, cluster API, connection, public key, the usual stuff, right? Now what we're gonna do is I'm gonna just create this cluster string equals devnet, just to make this reusable, because we're gonna go on devnet, right? Now what we need to do is on the left side here, I have a key pair. I don't want to really put a private key into this code, so I'm just gonna read that from the file. So key pair file fs read file sync sft key pair.json, and then we're going to create a key pair object from that using key pair.from secret key. So we're going to read that private key into our code. Right now, what we need to do is we need to create a Metaplex identity. A Metaplex identity is basically what we have here, key pair, but it's a lot more extended of an object. So I'm gonna copy this out here. So setup foundation. So we're gonna establish a connection as you normally would. New connection, cluster API URL, cluster string. Yeah, we're gonna reuse this. So I just made this a constant here. And now this is the new part. Metaplex.make connection. I'm not sure why they went with .make instead of new Metaplex. It's their decision. They had a reason in the GitHub repo. I didn't fully understand. I'm just going with the flow here. So we're going to use the key pair identity. We're going to use this identity, the key pair that we just imported, this SFT key pair, and we're going to specify that we're going to use bundler storage. Now, where this comes in handy is that this new Metaplex SDK is able to upload your metadata to Arweave super simply. So we're just going to use this bundler storage. If you're going on DevNet, you have to specify here that you're going on DevNet. If you're going on mainnet, just remove it, and then it's gonna default to mainnet, right? And then we're gonna print out this public key, just to have an understanding of what's happening. So we're gonna execute this. We're gonna execute this with npx tsnode./create sft.ts. Now I understand that TypeScript is not really a scripting language, even though its name is TypeScript. It's not a scripting language, so we gotta do npx tsnode to run the script by itself instead of in React or anything. So we're just gonna run this to make sure that it still works, even though I just copied it. Let's see. Give it a second. Cool. So it prints out public key pair or key pair being used. Right. Now next, I want to have, as you can see here, this NFT has here verified creators, right? And there's technically no reason to add a verified creator. This is what Candy Machine does. Each Candy Machine creates this account, and then it adds it as verified creator, because this was an old way of basically looking up a collection based on a Candy Machine. There was no other way to look up a Candy Machine as a whole. So what it did is basically it just created a second key pair, added it as the first verified creator, and then on the collection side, you could use that first verified creator to find all of the NFTs that belong to the Candy Machine. It's not necessarily required, but it's still widely used. So we're just gonna add it here because why not? For an SFT, it doesn't really make sense, but I want to show you how to add it through this SDK, right? And we're already 9 minutes in, so I gotta hurry the hell up. So what we're gonna do here is I'm gonna paste this in here. Well, I've already done that, so my bad. So create key pair to add this first verified creator. We're just gonna generate a key pair.generate, and then we're gonna have to create this key pair signer. Now this key pair signer is new, and this is only for the Metaplex JavaScript SDK. This is how they create signer objects. We're just gonna have to specify a public key and a secret key. So random creator key pair dot public key dot secret key. Simple enough. And now we have in this random creator key pair signer an object that is of type key pair signer that we're going to be able to use to add as verified creator, right? Now, I'm going to have to create the verified creators object, which is of type creator input. This is also conforming to the JavaScript Metaplex standard, right? And then we're going to have these two objects here. Let me just make these two objects as the first verified creator, the second verified creator. The first verified creator is this random address that I just created. This is generated randomly on each run. We're gonna give it a share of 0, and then this is the main creator that is this here. So metaplex.identity.public key. This is how you can access the public key of the identity. You can also access the secret key through this identity. So instead of going key pair.public key.whatnot, you can go just metaplex.identity.public key, and we're gonna give it a share. So this is the first random creator, and this is the first. This is the creator that each of them gonna have, and yeah. Now what we're gonna do is, since I mentioned that I want it to belong to a collection, we're gonna have to create a collection signer. Now this collection right here belongs to this public key over here. This is the wallet, the account that created this collection, which is our Metaplex identity here. So we're just going to use that. Again, we need a key pair signer object for the collection signer. So we're just going to do the same thing, just fill in the public key and secret key with the identity. Simple enough. Now what we're going to need to do is create the metadata object. And this is the metadata that the JavaScript SDK is going to upload automatically to Arweave. We need to assemble that metadata object, which is just the regular JSON metadata. And if you go here into this JSON metadata type, you can see every single thing that you can add here. It's just the usual metadata type that you can use with Metaplex, right? So let's go through it real quick. Name, SFT, soap tutorial, symbol, soap. This is not the on-chain metadata. This is the metadata that's going to be off-chain on Arweave, right? So this is the URI metadata. The usual stuff: name, symbol, description, seller fee, basis points, image. Again, I'm just using that Techno Shrek external URL attribute. So you're not doing anything specific here. You're just conforming to the JSON metadata type and adding your metadata here. Again, here, this is what it comes up. Properties creators. Since this is off chain, all we need is the actual data, the actual strings and numbers. We don't need to use the object here yet, the signer, the creator input, and the key pair signer objects yet. We can just give it a string of each of the details. I'm using here the collection because even though it's deprecated, a lot of wallets still use it, so why not use it, right? Now what's gonna happen is that now that we have this metadata object, we have the metadata object here. It's called the JSON metadata. We're gonna upload that to Arweave, and the way we're gonna upload that is we're just gonna do const URI await metaplex. So we can go into metaplex.nfts.upload metadata, and this is the object that we're passing in, the JSON metadata. This is what we're passing in, and this is gonna upload this object to Arweave and give us a URI. And since the new the Metaplex SDK is working with tasks, I'm not fully understanding how it works, but basically to run the task, you just do .run, right? So let's run this and let's see how it's been working. So what this should do is create the metadata JSON and upload it to Arweave. We're gonna wait just 1 second until that's done. I'm gonna go over here to look at my notes. Right, beautiful. So it printed out here URI of SFT metadata, and if we open that up, what we can see is that we indeed have the metadata. Let me just copy this out into VS Code just to format it to see that it is indeed the same metadata that we added here. So now we have this metadata uploaded to Arweave, and we got a really nice URL for it. Right, now that we have the metadata on Arweave, we need to create the NFT, the SFT, the SFT that we wanted to do. Right. For that, we also need to create an object, create SFT input. It is of type SFT input. I don't actually have that here. So let's do that SFT. What was that? SFT input, create SFT input, object, create SFT input. Let me see if this is the right pair. Yeah, exactly. So we need to create, basically, this is the input that is going to be used for the on-chain metadata, and we're going to need to pass in all the details that we need. So this creator SFT input type is the on-chain metadata and the transaction that's going to create it. Right, so payer, we want to be the payer as the Metaplex identity, as the main wallet that's creating it. Any wallet can be a payer as long as you have the private key to it locally running in the program. The token owner, you can specify who will be the owner of the SFT, because what is this? Wait, hold on a minute. The owner of token account associated with the SFT to create. Right, because you can mint. I haven't figured out how to yet, but you can basically mint in the same instruction. You can mint as well into a wallet. This token owner, you can basically mint a specified amount at the time of creation into that wallet. Right, I haven't figured that out. That's why it's commented out. URI. So this is where the metadata that we uploaded to Arweave comes in. This is the JSON metadata. We uploaded that, get a URI back, and then we're passing this URI into the URI. And this is going to be the off-chain URI, the off-chain metadata that we're passing into the on-chain metadata, right? And now we're going to use that same object just for the sake of repeatability. Name, we're just extracting the name from the JSON metadata object, so JSON metadata.name. Seller fee basis points, symbol. Same thing. Creators. Now this is the important part that I mentioned up here, is the creators that we need to create that when we go here in the creator input. These creators, since it's on-chain, then you need to have access to the public keys and private keys to be able to sign this, because you can't just pass in anything, because that would make the whole on-chain metadata pointless, right? So we have the creators, this random key pair, and then the identity that we're creating the whole thing with as the main creator, right? The next part is the is collection. Now these 4 lines are specifying which collection this SFT is going to be added. And again, this is how this is going to be reflected on chain, is that you have here the collection verified, and that's going to show up here in this collection NFT. Yeah, if you don't know about collection NFTs, just go here to the Metaplex docs and read certified collection. Just read this through and you have a lot better idea of why these exist. Right, now that we've created that, is collection true? And again, you're just conforming to this create SFT input. There's a lot of things here, and everything is documented pretty nicely above it. So update authority, you can read everything what it is. Yeah, it's pretty simple. So we're going to add is collection true. We're going to pass it what collection it should be added to. So in our case, this is the collection that I've created before. Again, this can be any NFT that you have authority over. Collection authority, collection signer. Again, this comes in here that you need to have the private key, a key pair signer object, to be able to sign this collection. If you don't have this, then this here will not be one. This verified will not be one, because Metaplex cannot verify that you actually have authority over that collection. You can just pass in any NFT and it would show up in your wallet. That would be very unsafe. So if it's not verified, if you don't have the secret key to the owner of this NFT, it will not be verified. Now in my case, collection is sized. I set it to false because for SOAP, it is always expanding. So I don't want this collection to be sized. But if you have a 10K collection that you know is going to be 10K, 10K SFTs. It's kind of weird here. This is why it's a little bit of a mix here, but you need this. So otherwise it's going to be set to collection. Again, you can see the default values here. Sized, collection sized. No, it's false by default. Well, I just specify it anyways. Okay, so now that we have this create SFT input, we need somewhere to pass it in because it is an input at the end of the day, right? So let's create the SFT itself. And now we've created all the objects, we've uploaded all the metadata, we've created everything, and now we need to actually run the create SFT operation. And the way we do that is we do constant SFT await metaplex.nfts. So SFT creation is part of the NFTs class. NFTs that create SFT. And then into the create SFT, we're gonna pass the create SFT input object, and then we're just gonna call the .run, and then we're gonna console.log SFT mint address. So we have the address of the new SFT that we just created, and then also a URL so that we can just click it. Now, same thing again, we're just gonna run the script. This is gonna take a couple of seconds because now it's running through the whole script. So now it's basically generating this key pair, so making the connection, generating the key pair, assembling these objects, uploading the metadata to Arweave, the off-chain metadata uploading to Arweave. As you can see, we already got that, and now assembling this object, and then now it has created our object. Why did it not work? Hold on a minute. URI of SFT metadata. This did not work. If true, it is true. Await metaplex create SFT. I am not sure what happened here. Let's run this one more time. If true, it is true. You know what? Let me just make this go away. There we go. Let's try this one more time. You know, it's a demo, gods. We're at 22 minutes. So sorry for this long tutorial, but I hope this helps because there's zero knowledge out on SFTs. And I'm building SOAP, so SOAP is going to be using SFTs. So I thought, hey, if I figure this out, why not upload a video on it? And let's hope that this works this time. There we go. Okay, so this code now created an SFT for us, and we're just gonna go into the browser. We're gonna go, since we're on DevNet, just making sure, we're gonna go into this account that this is the NFT. Again, SFT SOAP tutorial. This is what we specified here, is that that's gonna be the name of it, SFT SOAP tutorial. You gotta make sure that you're using the same names across your off-chain and on-chain metadata, because it's very simple to not do that, to mix that up. So this is why I was using the object instead of typing it in manually. So this is the SFT that got created. I'm gonna move myself up here. Verified collection address, very nice. So this is part of the verified collection that we have here. Mint authority, update authority is our wallet, the Metaplex identity, website, yada yada yada. And then we have here the metadata that we created. So this is the on-chain metadata, right? So we have everything went nicely. We have here the URI, arweave.net, the creators. Again, both of them are verified because we passed in, because we used the objects instead of just passing in the public keys of them. And it has also added our SFT to the on-chain collection, right? There's no uses because I didn't need that for now. There's a lot of things that you can do. So again, distribution. So the SFT exists, but there's no actually, so the token exists, but nobody actually has any of them because again, I couldn't figure out until now how to do the mint to wallet on creation. But so we have the SFT now. Now we want to have a couple of SFTs from this. So I'm just going to open my wallet here. I am on DevNet. I've imported this key pair that I'm using here in the let me just burn this. Oh no, this is the collection NFT. I don't really want to burn that. Yeah, this is the collection NFT. So what we're going to do is we're going to go back to VS Code and I'm going to mint myself a couple of these SFTs. So the way we do that is we do SPL token mint, and we need to specify the token address that we want to mint, and then I'm going to do 10. By default, this is going to mint to the key pair that is executing this. So that is our SFT key pair, because that's what I specified in Solana config get. So this is the key pair. This is the wallet that it's going to mint by default if you don't specify a target. So SPL token mint, specify the address of the token and specify how many you want to mint. And we're going to do a run. Again, recipient, this is our token account. The token is SS. And then we have the signature here. Now I have minted 10 of these SFTs into my wallet. And if we go back to Brave, to our browser, we go back to Phantom, with any luck, it has already recognized that we have minted this. And it has not, so we're gonna give it a couple more seconds. We're gonna try refreshing it. Let's see if Phantom automatically refreshes, and it has. And we have here this SFT test with our, oh yeah, because it recognized SFT test because it belongs to this on-chain collection, and it shows up. It uses the on-chain collection ID's name instead of the name of the SFT. So SFT sub tutorial, again, I have here 10. Yeah, everything is as we set up. I'm gonna move myself up here, and then we have here balance 0. If we refresh this, now we're gonna have a balance of 10. And if I want to mint this to somebody else, so I'm just gonna copy this other ID. We're gonna go back here, SPL token mint. I don't actually know how to specify SPL token mint. Recipient token account address, default associate token account owner. Okay, so the way we do that is token mint. We're just gonna do this, and then we're gonna do owner and specify the owner of the token account. Missing signature for supplied pub key. I don't actually know how to mint to somebody else. Token address, the token to mint. How do we do that? Mint authority, token address, token account, recipient, token account address. Oh yeah, I don't have a token account for this token. So I'm not going to go into that because I thought it was going to be easy, but it's not. I'm not going to go into that. But at this point, we have an SFT and we have an SFT in our wallet. And why this is good is because if you look here, if you look into the, so this is the SFT that we created. Let's look at the history. It's because it's cheap. Long story short, it is cheap. So if we look at these two transactions, just to wrap it up. So this transaction is the moment that we created the SFT, and it cost us let me make this bigger, 0.0091 Sol. Compared to a NFT, a candy machine NFT, which costs 0.012 Sol, usually to mint one. This costs 0.009 to create the SFT itself. And if we come here, the actual minting, this is the transaction where we minted 10 of the tokens into our wallet. It has cost us just a fee because we already have the token account. So this transaction created the token itself. So this is the token, this is the SFT that got created. This is a fungible token. It has created the metadata account of the SFT. So this is the metadata account that belongs to this token, or the on-chain metadata account. This costs super cheap. And then this is the associated token account that belongs to our wallet that we minted the tokens into, right? So this is, 7MD. This is the token account that belongs to our wallet. So this is the total cost of creating an SFT from non-existent to existing on-chain with 0 SFTs minted. Costs 0.009 Sol, which is super cheap. It's even cheaper than minting a single NFT. And then when we mint the SFTs, so create the SFTs, if the wallet that you're minting it to already has the associated token account, it literally costs nothing because you already have the token account, you already have everything. So it's literally just the transaction cost. If I were to create an SFT into the account, into the wallet, into the new wallet that I wanted to create it to, then all I need is the 0.002 Sol fee to create the associated token account. And once that wallet has the token account, I can give that as many SFTs as I want to. And this is the big difference. If I wanted to give you 3 NFTs from the same collection, let's say I want to give you 3 Hasukis, I'm gonna have to pay this fee 3 times, right? But in this case, I only have to do it once, and I can give you 3 of this cool SFT, or I can give you 10, or I can give you 20. Once you have the token account, it costs nothing to give you more. In contrast to NFTs, where one NFT can only exist, and for each NFT you have to have their own token account. So if you have 5 NFTs, you have to have 5 separate token accounts. That was it. I hope this was helpful. I'm gonna put this whole script into a GitHub gist. Again, to run it, you need to set up your whole environment, your whole package.json, your TS config, so you can run this code as a script, yada, yada, yada. I'm not going to go into that. This was just to cover the SFT side of things, of how you create an SFT. And with that, wish you a good day. Take care and catch you later.